Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Cassie Elle Talks. In today's episode, we're taking a look at a game that has a trading card game feel to it, but it has an American history wrap to the theme. The game is called Heroes of History by Bradan's World Media. Heroes of History is a 2 to 4 player game where players are fighting back and forth as heroes from American history, and you're giving your heroes weapons, and you're choosing battlefields to play on, and you're going back and forth trying to reduce each other's state points, which are also known as health, in the game. First one to succeed in getting their opponent's state points to 0 is a winner, and the game plays for about 20-60 minutes. If you like history, you're definitely gonna like this one, so let's go ahead and take a look at Heroes of History. All right, everyone, this is Heroes of History. The game comes set for 2 players. Now, it says it can play up to 4, but if you're going to play up to 4, you're gonna need to pick up one more copy of the game. The game comes with 2 decks, one for each player, the Midnight Rider deck and the Echoes of the Plains deck. In the game, you're going to have a deck of cards, you're going to draw cards into your hand, and you're going to play them to attack your opponent. Your opponent's health, and your health also, are called state points. At the beginning of the game, each player begins with 50 state points. The game continues back and forth until eventually one player has 0 state points, also known as 0 health, and then they are out of the game, leaving one player to be the winner. If you're familiar with games like Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh!, you're going to find this game to be very easy to pick up and play, as it plays in similar phases. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry, I'm going to explain the game anyway. But if you have played some of those before, this game's going to be very similar. And if you like history, then you're going to really enjoy this game. All right, for 2 players, I have it set up here with our mats. The game comes with 2 mats, one for each player. I have our decks set up here, and they're all shuffled up. At the beginning of the game, you draw up to 5 cards, and then you're gonna play those cards into either your trench, your command zone, or your battlefield zone. We also have a discard pile here where some cards could be played into the command zone, and then an effect happens right away, and then it goes to the discard pile, but I'll show you some of those cards so you're not confused. This area is for extra cards. If at some point you have an ability that says you can have extra cards, this is where you would place them. And right here is where you set the deck. We're all shuffled up, so let's go ahead and see how we play Heroes of History. In Heroes of History, you're going to find cards that have 5 different colors. Depending on the color, we'll tell you what kind of card it is, where you play it, and how it's played. Green cards are battlefield cards. They're played right into the battlefield zone. They give you bonuses that might help your strength or your defense when you're going to attack your opponent. The next color is the blue color. These cards are called combatants. The combatants are placed directly into the trench. Note that there are only 5 spaces in the trench. You can only have up to 5 blue cards in the trench at any time. And on your turn, you can only play 1 blue card. Everything else, you can play as many as you want. If you wanted to play like another green card, you would have to spend 2 health to get rid of it. All of the other cards are similar, but with the blue cards, you can only play 1 per turn. The next color are black cards. Black cards are weapons. If you want to play a weapon, you have to have someone to attach it to. Weapons are placed right into the command zone. Note that there are only 5 spaces in the command zone. If you want to play a 6th card into the command zone and get rid of something else, to get rid of this, you have to spend 2 health to discard it. The next color is a brown color. These cards are supply action cards. These cards usually let you do something special or give you like a special ability. It's usually something that happens right away. For example, this card, once you play it, you get to go and look through your deck, pick another supply card that you'd like, show it to your opponent, and then put it right into your hand. When this card is played, it goes right into the command zone, as long as there's space for it to be played, and then it moves from the command zone into the museum, which is also known as your discard pile. The last color are the silver grayish color cards. These are usually called supply hold cards, and they are placed also into the command zone. And they usually stick around for maybe a round or 2, depending on what the card says. This card says no battles allowed until the end of your opponent's turn or the end of the round. So this card will only stick around until one of those 2 is satisfied, and then it gets moved into the museum. There are 2 other cards that I want to show you. They are also blue cards, but these cards are a little more special, and they actually have a cost to play them. They are exceptional combatants. They have these little stars on the side. If you want to play these into the trench, you may do so, but to do so, you have to discard either 1 if it's 1 star or 2 if it's 2 star. blue cards from your hand into the museum. So let's say you want to play George Washington. You put George Washington into the trench, and from your hand, you discard 2 other blue cards right into the museum because George Washington has 2 stars. Those are all the different kinds of cards that you're going to be able to play and the locations that you're going to place them. Now the turn order is very simple. First, you draw 5 cards. Then you choose to play whatever cards you like. Once you've played all the cards you want, you can engage into a battle. To engage in a battle, first of all, it costs 1 health or 1 state point per card you use to fight with. You then choose which one of these cards you're using to attack which one of your opponent's cards. Whatever power you're going to use to attack with is going to be your blue card's base attack plus the weapons, and if you have any cards out on the battlefield or the command zone that give you bonuses, you add those to your card as well. Depending on what kind of cards your opponent has and what phase those cards are in will determine how much of their power they have. If you take this card and attack one of your opponent's cards, and your opponent's card was attacking last time, it adds up its numbers in the attack spot. If this card had not been used to attack in the previous round by its owner, and it was just sitting like a normal card, you would add up all of its defense number. If your opponent didn't have any cards, these cards add up their attack, plus their bonus and everything else, and that's how many state points or health your opponent's going to lose. George Washington is attacking Marcus Reno. Because Marcus Reno is not in an attack mode, he uses his defense number. His defense number is 3. George Washington's power, however, is 10. He's in an attack mode, and he has a +3 with his weapon, so he's actually attacking with 13. Because this is in a defense mode, he just gets discarded, and George Washington won that battle. Henry Lee attacks Marcus Reno. Henry Lee has 4 attack, plus 1 more for his weapon, so he has 5. Marcus Reno is in an attack mode, so he uses his attack power, which is only 2. Because Marcus Reno is in an attack mode, not only does Marcus Reno get discarded, but because he's in an attack mode, I also take damage, so my state points go down. For 5, and he only has 2, so he gets discarded, but then there's 3 damage left. Then I take the 3 damage, so now my health, state points, go down by 3. Once the battle has been resolved, if you have any more cards in your hand that you want to play, you can play those. And then if you have anything that happens at the end of your turn, it happens, and then it moves to the next player. So, just to recap, draw 5 cards, play whatever cards you want, can only play 1 blue card per turn, engage in battle. Once battle mode is all finished, play the rest of your cards, finish your round, pass turn. I know the battling part can be a little confusing, so you kind of want to make sure you read over that part of the rulebook very clearly when you're engaging in a battle just to make sure you do the math correctly. But other than that, the game is really easy. Draw cards, play cards, battle, play cards, end turn. That's basically the gist of Heroes of History. So that was Heroes of History by Bradan's World Media. The game is really easy. Once you figure out the way that you can determine the different type of state points you take away when you're in battle, the game is super easy. The card tells you what to do, and then you play it and you do it. It's really simple to follow, and if you like games that are, with a trading card game feel, but you really like history also and you want to try something new, I would definitely recommend you check this game out. To learn more about Heroes of History or Bradan's World Media, you can take a look at the links down below. And if you'd like more information about me, you can like, share, and subscribe, and check out my website, CassieElle.com. And I also write for the IndieGameReport.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. That's Cassie Elle signing out with Heroes of History.